The virtual idol era is coming. A group that doesn't physically exist has the potential to outsold every human group on the charts. Why spend years of training humans who might leave or get sick when you can just build a digital persona that works 24/7 and it's still worth millions of dollars? But is it still authentic if there's no human behind it? We have groups like PLAVE already selling millions of copies in a single week, and companies like pulling big profits while traditional agencies struggle. Today, we're seeing everything from the hyper-realistic AI idols like MAVE to robot idols ready to hit the stage. Hi everyone, I'm Christina, and here I talk about different K-pop topics, so if you're interested, subscribe. So, we are past the point of virtual idols being just an experiment. They are the main characters now. The market is already worth over $2 billion and it's heading towards $22 billion in the next decade. The technology had a huge glow up. It's not just pixels anymore. These AI idols have actual presence and don't feel like robots. For our generation who lives basically online anyway, the brain rot is real because we are out here catching feelings for pixels. The distinction between a real person and a digital one is getting so messy, and we've hit a point where it doesn't even matter if they're real or not. It's all just content at the end of the day, and if the music hits and the lore is on fire, do we even care if they have a heartbeat? Not all virtual idols are built the same. I categorize them in three main groups: the CGI, generative AI, and the hybrid. So the digital skin, or the CGI, think of groups like PLAVE, and it's probably the most human way to be a robot. These are real humans wearing motion capture suits in a studio. Every time they dance, wave, or do a finger heart, their digital avatar does it in real time. Because there's a human behind them, when PLAVE does a live stream,
좋았어요. 근데 이번 향수가 뭐냐? 있었어요?
or someone of the members glitches, the fans don't get mad, they find it hilarious. This is the gold standard for the fans who still want that human connection, but with a cool anime kind of style aesthetic. Fans actually prefer that there's a human behind the screens. It makes the per-social connection feel less like you're talking to a computer, more like you're talking to a shy artist using a digital mask. Then there is the full generative AI idols. This is where things get real sci-fi. If the last ones were humans in costumes, the generative AI is 100% code idol. We're talking about groups like MAVE or the 2026 Rocky like this one. In this model, there is no secret behind it. Their faces, their bodies, their voices are all synthesized by a deep learning algorithm. Since they're powered by AI, they can do a comeback in Korean, do a live interview in perfect English. They use something called neural voice synthesis. In the past, AI voices used to be very flat, very robotic, but now the AI can mimic real voices with breaths, even raspy voices, and can immediately create a almost like human voice. One of the biggest selling points for generative idols is their ability to localize in any country instantly, which is a massive win for the global K-pop, but it's also the most controversial kind of category. People are constantly debating if AI can actually make art or if it's just a code, a math equation pretending to have a soul. But when you see a group like MAVE pulling millions of views, you realize that for a lot of people, they really don't care if the singer is a real person or a processor. Last but not least, we have the hybrid or meta idol model. Instead of choosing between humans and robots, why not do them both? Think of Aespa or Superkind. These aren't just groups, it's a whole cinematic universe. Aespa Aespa, managed by SM Entertainment, was the first major group to center its entire brand around a digital human hybrid identity. The group consists of 4 human members, Karina, Winter, Giselle, and Ninning, which has a corresponding virtual twin known as an A. These independent digital characters exist within the SM culture universe. A key figure in Aespa's lore is Navis, is a standalone virtual entity who serves as a guide for the humans to connect with their A's counterparts. By the late 2024, Navis transitioned from a supporting character to a solo virtual artist, releasing her debut single, Dawn. They aren't just about the music, their link pop VR concerts allow fans to step into their digital world and watch them perform in 360 degrees. Then there is Superkind, the first AI idol group. Superkind is under Deep Studio Entertainment. They took the hybrid model a step further by making virtual members permanent. The group features 5 human members and 2 virtual members. They perform together in music video, on social media with different content as a single cohesive unit. But unlike the CGI models, Superkind's virtual members were created using a high-end deepfake face synthesis. Despite being the pioneers for the AI idols, they disbanded in April last year. These groups don't release just songs, they're expansions, and being a fan of a hybrid group feels different. It's more like being a fan of Marvel or Genshin Impact. You're tracking the story across webtoons, VR concerts, and music videos. It bridges the gap for the people who aren't ready to follow fully AI groups. You're still gonna be drawn to the human members, and once you're in the fandom, you'll start getting attached to the AI members too. It's the ultimate gateway to the virtual idol world. Let's go into the groups you need to know. So as I said, PLAVE are the mainstream kings. They're managed by Vlast company, and they basically proved that virtual idols can dominate the field in real-world charts. Their EP Caligo sold over 1 million copies in its first week, and to put that into perspective, their single, this one, Bulbu, was second only to BTS's Butter in the first week sales for boy groups. PLAVE uses real-time motion captures with real movements and real voices that you're seeing through the avatars. Their lore is set in Asteroom, which is a dimension between Earth and the digital world. Fans are called Pli, and they have that genuine idol chemistry. Then we have MAVE, the hyper-realistic queens. They were created by Metaverse Entertainment, a collab between Kakao and Netmarble. They use Unreal Engine 5. They specifically used meta-human technology to overcome the time-consuming process of facial modeling and rigging. The creation process followed a strict workflow: planning, modeling, expression generation, hair, and body calibration. The team built a pipeline using generative networks to create and combine facial vectors until they found the perfect idol look. They developed a custom tool to automatically generate approximately 800 facial expressions based on muscle flow, ensuring the characters could convey complex human emotions. And they used anime dynamics to ensure natural movement during intense dance routines. To capture the true K-pop feel, the production wasn't just digital. The team built a massive VFX center to record motion capture. They captured both the dancers' movements and the actual physical camera equipment movements simultaneously to replicate the dynamic camera work found in live-action K-pop music videos. MAVE functions as a meta-idols capable of interacting with fans across multiple digital platforms, which is why their debut Pandora looked so realistic that it was almost scary. They use AI voices synthesis for multilingual support, meaning they can talk in whatever language you want, and they are massive lately on Spotify. Then we have these smaller groups that aren't that famous yet. I think we'll see more of them in the future. Owis, a 5-member girl group with a museum concept. They treat their digital history like art, and it's very highbrow aesthetic. Skinz, and they're all about the unfiltered landscape of youth. They use digital faces but emphasizes real voices to connect with Gen Z on a emotional level. Cindy 8. This is a big project. Their vocals are fully AI generated. It's a part of a massive tech initiative to see if we can have famous artists that are 100% synthetic. GLXE is a AI-generated K-pop boy group that debuted in December 2025. GLXE is categorized as generative AI group, meaning their visuals, music, and voices are largely created using artificial intelligence. They feature a cyber myth identity inspired by the stars of Orion's belt, and their lore centers on the themes of dystopian resilience and fate. Their music is a blend of futuristic visuals with a dark cinematic R&B and hip-hop sound. The project was spearheaded by a creator named Orion, who utilizes AI tools like Suno for music and vocals and Veo for video to produce the group's content independently. The group is a multinational trio with distinct roles and personalities. Their debut coincided with the passage of the AI Basic Act in South Korea, making them a focal point in discussions regarding AI ethics, copyright, and the future of human artists in the K-pop industry. While they face criticism from some K-pop fans for being AI slop, they have maintained a dedicated niche following on platforms like TikTok and Spotify, where fans engage with their content. GLXE Corporation robots. This is some futuristic stuff. They're working on humanoid robot idols that can actually perform live on stage, transitioning from virtual world to actually life-size robots. And yeah, it's happening. Each of these groups is very different, has its own technical lane, whether it's CGI, AI, robots. There's literally an idol for every type of fan. The traditional K-pop trainee model is expensive and risky. Less than 2% of trainees make it to actual big groups. Virtual idols are a solution for some agencies because there is no drama, no dating scandals, no health issues, they don't age. There's also big profits. As Blast agency reported, have a 22% of profit margin in 2024, and comparing to other traditional agencies with human artists that make only 8% of them, there's a huge difference. And also agencies can design faces that they need, and there's no need to find someone that fits the beauty standard. But still, many people are divided on this topic. Online you'll see people calling it AI slop, cheap and unfinished. There's a real fear replacing a human struggle with an algorithm makes the art feel hollow and empty. Then there's the Uncanny Valley, where an AI, if it looks too realistic or too human but moves just a little bit off, it triggers a repulsion in our brains. Plus, if we can just create perfect idols, does that make the real idols replaceable? It's a bit dystopian in my opinion. However, some fans defend it as a human project. For groups like PLAVE, it allows talented real performers who might be too shy or scared of the camera to reach their dreams behind an avatar. Concerts in Multiverse. The live shows in 2026 are next level because going to a concert doesn't mean what it used to. We've moved way beyond by just watching a video on a screen. We are officially on the era of gravity-defying performances and holographic reality. The absolute case study for this is PLAVE's Asia tour. They weren't just playing small tech, they were selling out the KSPO Dome and the Gottschalk Sky Dome, where very famous K-pop groups perform. Because they aren't limited by biological bodies, PLAVE utilizes physical effects that are physically impossible for humans. Imagine idols teleporting across the stage, flying through air, or changing outfits in a second. And fans actually show up to their concert with light sticks, just like any other concert. Even though they are technically watching high-definition screens, the energy of thousands of people singing all in unison, it must be insane, and it makes the concert feel real. Global cinema and holographic meet and greets. The coolest part about being a digital idol is that you can literally be everywhere at the same time. PLAVE's final show were streamed across the world, and it's actually the first time that a world tour actually happened in every country all at once. And also now there's the holographic meet and greet, where you can stay in a queue at a pop-up shop and have a one-on-one one-to-one interaction with a life-size hologram of a member, Metaverse festivals, and VR headsets. When we have the Aespa model, their Link Pop first VR concert was a game changer. You put on a VR headset and you're suddenly in a virtual stadium, interactive stages. At events like at the 2024 Meta Content Festival, fans in VR could actually hop on stage and dance with the idols or get virtual autographs that exist as 3D objects in their digital wallets. And these aren't just pre-recorded videos. By using Tencent RTC, which stands for real-time communication, the sync between the motion capture data and the video feed is perfect. If you type a comment in the chat, the virtual idol can respond in character all in real time. So, is it real? Some people say it's just a glorified movie screening, but honestly, when you're in a room with 50,000 of people, everyone with flight sticks and huge holographic idols, you stop caring if they're real or not. You're just there for the experience, I guess. And South Korea isn't letting this happen without rules. In fact, they passed the AI basic rules recently, requiring labels on AI content to let the people know if it's not real. In a few years, these concepts won't be so wild to us, and we'll see more and more virtual groups. I want to hear from you. What do you think? Would you stand a AI member, or you still prefer the human ones? I personally still prefer my real idols, and I think the CGI ones, that's actually cool, but making them completely AI with also AI voices is kind of uncanny. So let me know your opinions in the comments down below, and that's pretty much it. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!